Hello and welcome to my channel Balkan Aesthetics. In today's video I'm going to be talking about who is the true Israel. So in a lot of media outlets and a lot of different people who talk about the true identity of Israel and who Israel really is, there's a lot of voices going around from different groups of people. You have the people over in Israel saying they're the real Jews. You have the Hebrew Israelites who say that they belong to the 12 tribes and the 12 tribes are black, and that if you're not black then you're not true Israel. And what these groups fail to understand is that true Israel isn't what you would call a bloodline. The true Israel isn't something or someone you can identify by just looking at the flesh, right? Meaning the identity of true Israel isn't skin deep. It goes down to the very soul. If we look at the Apostle Paul, he expands on this pretty well when he talks about the people that are true Israel are the ones who have embraced Christ, who have Christ living on the inside of them, who have that awakened spark and know who they really are, which is, or who are the true children of God, or the true sons and daughters of God. This is something that can't be seen in the flesh. Another example of this would be when you look at the Pharisees when they were talking to Jesus and they were saying, Abraham is our father. And Jesus pretty much rebuked them and told them that, just because you claim Abraham is your father from a bloodline perspective, from a 12 tribes perspective, that doesn't mean that you are actually Israel. It goes back to you actually having that spark. Now, what people need to also understand, going back to Paul wasn't the kind of guy that believed in the teachings of Christ at first, right? He had to be knocked off his horse, both literally and figuratively, in order to be exposed to the real identity of God. So if you go back to my 5-part video series on how to be born again, that's a template for how to become born again. It's a general example of what happens to most people before they become born again. It doesn't mean that it applies to every single person. There are people who don't go by that template, who have a more abrupt introduction to God, and that's how they find their way to Christ. But the template itself is a good way for you to understand how the process of being born again works for most people. But going back to the true identity of Israel, Israel is a group of people on a spiritual level, right? They're found in all nations, in all tongues. They're scattered all over the place. It's not a specific bloodline that you can trace, So when it comes down to it, the spiritual Israel are people who are truly born again, who truly have Christ living on the inside of them, and who are definitely set apart compared to other people. This is the group of people that are, the chosen, right? Many are called, few are chosen. That is the group, the people who have responded to God's call. And God is fair, right? He'll call many people. He'll reach out to many people. But it's only those people who have that internal spark within them, who have the essence, the spirit of the Father, the Holy Spirit, who will respond to the message, who will, pick up the call, who will respond to the call. And those people are the true Israel. So regardless of how that happens, whether it be abrupt or a gradual process, it's something that the real group of Israelites actually possess. The real Spirit of God, the Spirit of Christ, that dwells in them, that sets them apart from regular people. So as you're going through your born again journey, don't be discouraged, right? There's going to be times where you slip or you fall, but the key is to get back up and continue to be refined. And the only way you can be refined is when you spend more time with God, where God becomes the forefront of your life. And a good way to gauge that would be to look at the thoughts that you have. Are your thoughts centered on God? Is what gets you up in the morning God or something else? Really be honest with yourself and see and do a self-assessment, really, right? Judge yourself, right? By judge, I mean assess. Take an inventory of what you're really going after, what you're really prioritizing. And as long as that's God first and foremost, then you're on the right path to salvation. So yeah, that's all I got for this video. If you want to give the video a like, go ahead. If you want to subscribe, that'd be great. And if you want to leave a comment for a future video you'd like me to do, I'd be happy to oblige. And as always, God gets the glory. See you in the next video. Bye.